Welcome back to Corporate Strategy, the podcast that could have been an email. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Michael.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
That was so smooth.
I figured it out. I made it work.
Wow. That's just a game changer. Last time it was so clunky. We're like, do we have to stop? Did we have to stop the intro music? What do we have to do?
Why is it?
Oh, no.
What is happening?
That was so smooth.
Why is it playing back? Oh, I know why. It's because of the YouTube.
Oh, my.
There we go.
We were so close.
We were so close to perfection.
Oh, we were
so
right
close.
there. Now we know. Now we know what we need to do. I'm sorry for everybody who just had to witness that. That was probably really confusing.
I mean, it was so good. I timed us in. I had my finger up. I made you not breathe for a solid minute.
Yeah, way longer than I thought I'd have to.
You really held your breath, which is good. I stuck my face right here and held my breath because I wanted to make sure people knew I was holding it.
You said don't breathe.
Yeah.
And then dogs started barking in the background. And then I still held my breath and eventually said, "Oh, you can breathe now." I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Yes.
Thanks.
I did allow for the breathing because the dogs wouldn't stop.
I've had a little of allergies going on too. So
same.
It's not the easiest to breathe.
No.
So you doing this to me, I could have just fell over.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that. That would have really livened up the show. I think a little drama is what we're missing.
Yeah, how entertaining would that be if you just let the live stream run while I'm on the floor? What if you just kept the podcast going? You know what? Let's make a vow to each other.
Should we start it over?
No, I think we just need
Roll
to make a
back the
vow
tape?
that if it ever actually happens, we have to continue the podcast.
Keep talking.
Just keep talking.
Don't
Like it
stop
never
talking.
happened.
Yeah.
Don't acknowledge it. Just continue it on.
Love that. Love that. I think that's the plan. That's the play. Hey, Michael.
Hey.
Still your name?
Anthony, still weird.
Still weird. It's never going to be not weird. Pinkies up, vibe check. How you doing?
Vibe check. I have been through a week. So I told you.
That usually happens over the course of 7 days, but please continue.
Well, no, there's I had a week. Then there's I've been through a week. Then there's, it was just a week.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
all different. You can catch that vibe.
Yeah.
So you remember my back problems. Mm-hmm. So my back was hurting. I said I did something. I threw out a disc.
You've been carrying the pod for 2 years.
I know, right? My back hurts.
Yeah.
It still hurts.
Yeah.
So I herniated a disc, had to do the whole MRI thing I talked about a few episodes ago. I finally got the procedure to help. I got a giant needle stuck into my back. Giant needle stuck into my back.
Is that really the length?
It's crazy. So have you ever seen an epidural for a woman that's giving birth, anything like that?
I've never given birth.
Well, yes. But they call it an epidural where they inject steroids into the herniated disc.
Okay.
And so it starts with just 2 little needles. They give you a little pinch. They numb the outer area. And then they take this giant needle that they have to stick all the way down in between your vertebrae into the little cushions, the little marshmallows back there. And they basically have to inject the steroid into that little area just so it can have time to recover and heal and stop from hitting all the nerves.
Sure.
So I had that done this week.
Okay.
It is the weirdest sensation I've ever felt in my life.
Really? Describe it.
So one, you're numb. So the skin is numb, so you don't really feel anything. You can feel a little bit of a pinch, but it doesn't really hurt. But when they actually start injecting the steroid and sticking the needle down there, it feels, because you're laying face down, it feels like you've got this immense pressure in your lower stomach groin area that's just pushing down into the table. Like a bowling ball is just being sat and pushed into you from the inside. Weirdest feeling in the world. I don't even know how to, it didn't hurt.
So I've had 2 very weird feelings in my life under medical circumstances. The first was LASIK, which was very weird.
Yeah, you told me about
because it doesn't hurt. Wild. And you think it would, and it doesn't. And you do feel something, but it's not painful.
And they don't put you under, right?
No, it just it feels like you're somewhat, honestly, it feels like this. If you can do, the listeners can't see, but if you take your fingers and just rub them up your eyes, that's what it feels like. It's strange. And the second weirdest thing, this is probably TMI, was I had my prostate examined. And let me tell you, the sensation of that is something I'll never forget. And I'm just so excited to get older and have that happen at least once a year. Let me tell you.
I think they have a test. You don't have to do that anymore now.
For me, they did.
Oh, okay.
There was no choice.
You walked in the office and they're like, Anthony, he needs to have the real thing done.
Not what I went in for, but
that's
what
so
I came out for.
That's so much worse. You go in and be like, oh yeah, routine checkup, blood pressure, cough, touch your toes, whatever they do in there. And then they're like, all right, turn around.
They got the glove out and everything. And let me tell you, when you were describing the needle, it just sent me right to it.
Yeah.
Like I was back in the room. Because
PTSD.
again, it was a pressure that just didn't let up, and it felt like forever. And for all of our listeners who have a prostate, don't wait. Get it examined. Despite what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Don't wait.
I would take the needle thing 10 times out of 10 versus what you had to go through. So maybe my whole entire thing is mute now. But
Be brave. Be brave and do it. Well, how is recovery?
So it's weird. So the whole, when you herniate a disc, the whole thing is weird because one, when it herniates, it pushes on different nerves. So you get weird sensations like just tingle or numbness down your leg or in your groin area, just like shooting pain when you take the wrong step or bend over or whatever. It's the weirdest thing because you're not injured.
It's like electrical, right?
Yeah. It's all just nerve.
Yeah.
And so when they inject the steroid, it takes time for that actually to the steroid to kind of take effect and like give you that relief. So it's been like little by little, but the first day I was so sore from that needle being in.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't even like walk the next morning. It was like excruciating. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything ever again. Luckily this is day 4. And it is significantly better.
Yeah.
It's still a little bit of dull pain here and there. I'm gonna have to do some stretching, some PT, all that good stuff. But yeah, much better.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, that was my week.
This has been a journey for you. I've had a feet journey and you've had a back journey.
I have.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're doing better.
Where I said last year was the year of health, which a lot of things did go right for the year of health last year for me. This year somehow turned into now I have all these other physical ailments that I have to deal with.
That's generally what happens when you focus on health, is you uncover that you're not actually healthy at all.
Yeah, you keep on uncovering different stones and you're like, do I want to look down that hallway? Probably not. I'm gonna keep this door closed. I just don't want to know.
You ever think about how all the cells in your body were not in your body just a year ago?
Yeah, that's super weird.
Isn't it weird? You're like the ship of Theseus, but for biomatter.
Or when you get like something in your eye and like an hour later your eye's already grown over it.
It's just grown over it. And now it's permanently in your eye forever.
Body's weird, man.
Body's weird. Body's
That's
real
why I'm not
weird.
a doctor.
No.
I could never do it.
But I think you get used to it when you're a doctor.
Yeah,
we
for
need to
sure.
have a doctor on the pod. Actually, we should have my brother-in-law on the pod.
Ooh, we should. That'd be a lot of fun.
Podiatrist.
I
He's shown me
wonder-
pictures. You want to see pictures?
No, I don't.
Oh, we should have him show us pictures.
Show
on
and
the
tell?
YouTube stream.
Wait, is that doctor?
Legal?
Yeah, is that legal?
I mean,
Isn't there a thing called HIPAA?
no, he's not showing me pictures of his patients. He's showing me pictures of like reference. You know how some people like volunteer, like he's like, hey, check out this.
Yeah,
look
use
at
my
this
body for
gangrene
science.
right here. You
Yeah.
know. I was like, yeah, I want to see. Yeah, I want to see. I want to see if I can stomach
That'd be
it.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, pinkies up. How are you?
Pinky's up. How do I seem?
You actually seem a little more chipper today.
A little chipper.
But see, with you, I've known you long enough to know that's either really good or really bad.
Hide the pain. I hide the pain through humor.
You do really well
and
with that.
joy. Yeah. It's a little bit of a defensive mechanism, and I think it bothers some people because I do smile when I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. I get jokey. It's especially bad when I'm in excruciating pain or in the hospital.
Like the prostate exam?
Yeah. I really start like I'm
start smiling at
wonderful.
'em?
How are you? I get very sarcastic. I get very smiley, and I'm like, oh, I'm dying. But this is not that. I'm not in that phase right now. This week was fine, actually. I feel like I had a good, productive week. I feel like I'm in good spirits. I'm in good health. You've seen the work we've had done on our house. There's a
Nice grab.
See, again, like the things you're missing if you're not watching our live
That
streams.
was amazing.
Just grabbed a nope.
Now what are you going to do with this?
It came free of my hand.
Now what are you going to do with it is really the question.
I was gonna eat it.
That'd be amazing live stream.
Just like
Just don't say anything about it.
just pulling a
continue on.
Gex. I'm pulling. Do you remember Gex the gecko?
No.
You're too young for that, huh?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so. I don't know what that is.
Too young for Pepsi Man. Too young for Gex. Sad. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Yeah. I really have no updates. That's why I'm just
You're just
looking
saying,
for
like,
something to pull.
everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Well, productivity seems to be kind of like the name of this week.
Yeah.
People in our chat were talking about that. They're like, hey, I'm feeling productive. And they felt a little more energy.
Yeah.
I kind of did the same thing.
Hey, speaking of productivity, how's that Discord swap going?
Oh, yeah, it's done.
You're head of that project.
Yeah,
so-
100%. Well, we'll get that done eventually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I did see, I think you fixed the LinkedIn automation.
I did fix the LinkedIn automation, and it actually pulls our YouTube. So
I
did
saw
something.
that.
I did something. I didn't talk about it, but it does pull our YouTube, which is kind of cool.
Live shout outs to Michael for fixing the LinkedIn automation. Also, live shout outs, we got a new Patreon subscriber.
Nice.
And I am very happy to say we are almost a cash flow positive podcast.
That's amazing.
After 5 years, I can stop bleeding money.
You think one day we'll ever make money from this?
We were talking about this beforehand. I want to make this very clear. When we do hit cash flow positivity, which may or may not happen based on you, the viewer/listener, we're going to take all extra proceeds and put it right back into the pod. So that means more unique content for our Patreon listeners. Also, it means better setup, better ability for us to bring guests on. We're going to invest every penny back into the pod.
Community meetups.
We have real jobs. We don't need the extra money. The extra money goes right back into this. So that is a promise. I was going to say it's a Bruce promise, but who the hell is Bruce?
Yeah, we killed him.
He's dead. Yeah, so it is a promise. There will be no pocketing of the funds. It will simply be a reinvestment.
Yeah. Yeah, if anything, it'll just stop coming out of our pocket and actually just come out of the podcast pocket. So
That's
good.
That's exactly
I'm looking
it.
forward to
Yeah, and if you want to help support the show, link is everywhere. Literally everywhere. Just scroll down.
We actually are filming some of our first Patreon content today.
Patreon exclusive content.
Yeah, we're going to get that started. So if you are a Patreon exclusive member,
Yeah, they are
member? What's it called?
the corporate strategist tier of
Nice.
Patreon.
Okay, so if you do that,
Yes.
you'll get access to this premiere content.
You will get access to premium content.
That's pretty cool. So you guys got to join.
Please join.
I love it.
We love you. What are we talking about today?
Oh, this one's important. I posted it. I was like, you know what? What's something that we feel really proud of on this podcast that we've created over the years?
My feet.
Yeah, your feet. We've talked a lot about your feet.
I'm so proud of them.
They know more about your feet than they probably need to know.
They still haven't seen them yet. That's a
we are on
exclusive
the show.
Patreon tier content, by the way.
Maybe a different subscription
A
service.
different tier on a different platform.
But one thing we've always talked about and that we found really helpful for us was, how do you evaluate workplace happiness? I think we all go through it. You know, you join a job, you're part of a corporation, and at some points you might love your job. And a lot of the times, maybe you love it for the whole entire time. Like, some people are very lucky where they just say, I love my job, love everything about it, love the people I work with. But I would say more often than not, people are not the happiest with their job, and whether it's certain parts of what they have to do or whether it's the job in totality. And so what we did, a few years ago now, how many years old is this? 3 years?
I want to say it's like 4 years old now.
It might be 4 years. So
We kind of did it, I think, in year 2.
yeah, we started that early.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of thinking like, okay, well, what goes
peaked.
into? We did. That was actually it. We should have never done this. But we started thinking about like, well, how do you evaluate if you're happy or not? Like, how do you know? And how do you know what factors into that? I'm guessing you felt this way too. In certain jobs, I felt unhappy, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
like, today sucked.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know why. Maybe I can think about it a little bit. Maybe the work was frustrating. But then day after day, you're like, okay, it can't just be the work that's the problem. Like, it's got to be something else. Maybe it's the people I work with. Maybe the people I work with suck. And the environment is just really crappy. Maybe I feel like I need to earn more money. Maybe I need to get that next promotion or whatever it is for your personal goals and ambitions. So we created something that, is essentially a way for you to kind of grade yourself in all those areas and understand not only a little bit more about you, about what you value in workplace happiness, but also, be able to realistically look at your day-to-day and say, hey, this is why I'm not happy. Maybe I need to look for another job. Maybe I need to transition to a different part of the company, or maybe there's something in my control I can do.
Now, I want to shout out ourselves, because we did peak with this, but the construct we made, it evaluates everything Michael said. But I think the really neat thing about it is, we came up with this 4 years ago. It has not changed.
Yeah, it stayed consistent.
It has really stayed consistent. I think about it often in my own work life, what this thing is, which our existing listeners know, but new viewers might not. I still use this. Is it
The flies back. Yeah, I don't know where it went.
grab it and
You
eat
need
it.
to eat it.
This is definitely going to impact your score. But I think the big thing to think about here, we joked about this last week, is when I log into my HR platform, it asks me for a happy, sad.
An NPS score.
Yes, right. Like, it wants me to click an emoji on how I feel. You can't measure workplace happiness on a single day.
Yeah.
Right? There are going to be ups and downs in your corporate existence. Even if you have a perfect score of our system, you can still have very bad days where you're like, I want to quit. And that's okay.
Normal. Very normal.
Very normal. I think what we've built and what we're going to talk about is actually a way to evaluate over a span of time your satisfaction with your job and your existence and how your work balance, not work life, just work balance and work quality of life can be measured. And it can also help you identify what you want to do next and what to look for in the interview process. So with that, Michael,
I guess I gotta say,
what is it?
So you've got to think about, as we were working through it, what are kind of the 4 vectors of things to think about? We were able to bucket all the things that you need to really think about and evaluate that play into workplace happiness. And I would say, even if you think of something different from one of these 4 things, just to keep it simple, they probably can fit in that bucket somewhere. And so the 4 that we identified were culture, autonomy, challenge, and compensation, or some might say CACC.
CACC. And I want to make this clear. Culture, autonomy, challenge. If you think about, if you've ever seen a stereo, used a music app, that's your kind of your bass, your treble, your midtones. You can adjust those as you see fit, as you need them. Compensation, that's your master, right? It does not exist in the same scale as the other 3. It is an offset. And it's important to call that out up front, because some people would just be like, I want all compensation. It's like, no.
Yeah.
You actually have to evaluate the 3 first, and then you can use compensation to turn up the volume for the other 3. So go ahead.
Yeah. As we kind of did this, so a couple of years ago, we did an experiment where I think, was it 10 days, 2 weeks, 1 week?
We did 2 weeks, and we revisited it and did 2 weeks again. Yeah.
So basically, the first thing you have to start out with this in understanding whether you're going to be happy and whether, what thing you weight more than the other, you have to think for yourself, well, what do I value? Do I value a happy workplace where I love my coworkers, I drink the Kool-Aid, I'm excited to go to work every day because of the people? So the culture is really, really good. That might be something you value. Some people not so much. When we were talking about this, Anthony was different than me. He valued that a lot more than me, where I'm like, for me, that's not the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like the people I'm working with, if we're doing something important, if we're doing something challenging, I still would be just as happy the other way around. So the second one is autonomy. A lot of people are told what to do every day. Hey, this is what you have to do. This is how you have to do it. For me, I prefer really high autonomy. I want to be able to make decisions on how I do the work. Some people, on the other hand, don't. They're like, hey, just tell me what I need to do. I want to clock out at the end of the day. Totally fine. Challenge. So is your work challenging? Are you solving big problems? Or is this something, are you learning every day? Or is this something that, like, you're just mundane, you're used to it, you like the rhythm of work, you know what you need to get done, and at the end of the day, you can sign off. And then lastly, as you said, compensation. It's like, maybe you're okay with how much you get paid, but a lot of people, they're like, hey, I actually want to get paid more. And that will make one of those 3 things, culture, autonomy, or challenge, that'll bolster, maybe I get a C letter grade on that. That'll bolster that up to a B-. And I'm like, oh, that's okay, because I'm getting paid enough to not care so much about being so happy with the culture.
I mean, there's a possibility where you hate your culture, you hate your autonomy, and you hate your challenge, but your compensation is just so gosh darn good that it's like, whatever. I could not quit this job if I wanted to, because I am compensated so well for it. And I think that's important, because the opposite can also be true, right? Like it is a balancing act to truly find your happiness at work, because you could have perfect 10 out of 10 challenge, 10 out of 10 autonomy, 10 out of 10 culture.
You're paid pennies.
And you're paid pennies. And that's not sustainable either. So, professional gamer, as an example.
Yeah. Awesome idea.
Awesome idea.
But you're not going to get paid for it.
No, sadly, unless you're selling those Counter-Strike skins, it's kind of out of the...
Or you're doing the other subscription feed picks on the side. You might be able to scrape by.
Right. I wonder what the culture is like for that one. Challenge seems low.
Yeah, challenge seems... Everyone's got feet. I got feet.
You got to keep them
not
pristine.
Sorry, not everyone's got feet.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Let's not be ableist here. But also, you got to keep those things clean, right? You got to clean them, polish them, maybe get scraped.
Yeah.
Get a treatment done, a peel perhaps. I'm very familiar with feet. You might need to get a trim.
Yeah.
Maybe even deeper trim into the borders, perhaps.
I love that we're breaking this down. You might be seriously considering this as a side hustle.
I could. Well, the challenge is all things that I could work on. The culture is, as long as, I guess I need a photographer, so as long as they're pretty easy to work with,
could be a good culture.
That's pretty solid. Compensation could be good. I really think it depends on the audience for these.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh.
Those dogs.
Those dogs. And the compensation is really what I make of it. So, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you value?
Yeah. And completely autonomous. I get as many or as few pictures as I want a week. Yeah. So, I mean, you know,
Maybe that's a good career path.
foot pick model could be a path worth following.
It could be.
Yeah.
Well, let's break those down.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think it'd be helpful to kind of go through each one and talk about like, well, what does it mean? How do I know if culture's my problem or if I like culture? Like if that's what I value. And so I think maybe we start with that one.
Let's do it.
What would you say for culture of saying either this is something that I value, so I should rate it high on my scale, or it's something that you notice is actually a bad thing that's draining on you?
I think
maybe both sides.
At its basis, culture it's the temperature of the room you like working in, really. And your culture is not my culture, is not Michael's culture. I think that's the first thing we have to make clear here. There is going to be variance on your own grade of culture based on what you want. I like an environment where we can joke, we can be open. We had that white collar, blue collar episode where we talked about like the difference in conversation. Like I want to work in an environment where I can say whatever the heck I want and, you know, no one's going to be offended. Everyone's going to be happy. Your culture slider, if you're looking for that, if it's up in the 10s, like you're looking for a weird place, right? Like, but if your culture is, hey, I want to work in a place where everyone's professional, everyone's respectful, we shut the laptops at 5, but I can rely on my team to get the job done, right? Like a 10 out of 10 culture for you is probably just a professional workplace.
Yeah.
So it's a feeling. It's
really subjective.
When you're in that room, you know, I like this culture, I don't like this culture, this works for me, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point, because I do think people will have different perceptions of, do I want to be an environment where like we're pushing each other and challenging each other and like gaming each other? Like maybe like a sales environment, right? Where it's like, it's very much, how do I close this deal? Like we're ragging on each other because we're like, how do you not close this client? Or sorry, you have to deal with that client. Like that could be your thing. You could be like, I get energy off of that. And I like going to work and having that, you know, friendly competition. But in some people's case, it might be like really terrible for them because they're like, I feel like this is way too demanding. It's toxic in ways because it's all about the sale. Like those are all the things to consider when you think about culture. And even when you're like going into work for the day, like, are you looking forward to talking to your coworker who you depend on to do your job? Like if that's the case, if you're like, yeah, I can't wait to submit this pull request so that way we can like collab on the code, you probably have a pretty good culture.
Yeah.
Because you're excited about it.
I like that, and I think
there's respect. Maybe that's what I was going for. Is like I want to talk to Anthony because I know he's going to give me feedback, and we had this environment when we first started our careers, and then I can genuinely learn, and I'm looking forward to that. So there's a culture of respect between each other.
Yes, and I want to have one of my friends on who's he's an ex-Marine. I guess he's a retired Marine.
Marine?
Former Marine.
You're never an ex-Marine.
That's true. You're never. Yeah. Okay. So you know, hearing him talk about the culture of that environment, but they love it, right? Like Marines love that culture, and I think military in general has a very specific culture that you can really only get in the military, right? Maybe some weapons contractors and government contractors, you might get a similar vibe, but like that is a very specific culture. Whereas an educator might seek a very, very different culture. So you really got to think about like who you are, the environment you like to be in, and quantify that. Like, what are you looking for? And is it important to you? Like, I'm a nerd. Am I going to do okay in the Marines? I don't know. Like, I don't know if that culture will gel with me. But if it's not that important, if I'm like, you know what, I'm a little bit of a chameleon, I can work anywhere. Then culture's going to be low on my ranking. Might be like a 2 out of 10.
100%. Yeah. If you're extroverted, introverted, if you work in a job where you have to collaborate with a lot of people, but you're introverted, like that might be really draining for you because like you have to go and talk to everyone every day. And at some point you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm dreading going to work. Why?
Right.
Is it the work that I'm doing? Do I just hate doing the work? Or is it the environment I'm in that it just isn't suitable to who I am?
Right.
And so that one's really, really subjective, but I think all those vectors will help you understand whether you value it or whether you just don't care. Like if you work alone, you're like, yeah, I go into work, I talk to no one, I do my job and I leave. You probably don't care much about culture because you're very independent and you don't need to worry about it so much. But let's go into autonomy.
Well, do you want to give your rating? What are you?
Yes.
What are you on the scale? Yeah.
You know, it's funny. As I was at Universal, in the beginning, I would say I didn't know I wanted culture, but I did. And like, I love the environment I worked in. I love the people I worked in. Over the years, and especially through COVID, it was just such a weird time because you got so isolated and you kind of realize what you valued and where you got energy and where you didn't. And I noticed I really did enjoy being around people that I liked to work with. But then towards the end, as I kind of got to the executive ranks, and my team got bigger and bigger, I kind of lost that again. But I didn't realize it. I think I talked about this on an episode where I had that like light bulb moment where I was like, I miss like working with people on things, not managing people, working to solve a problem with people. And so I used to rate, I think when we did the exercise, my culture rating was low. It was like 3 out of 10 or something like that. Like that's how we quantified it. And I think towards the end, I'd probably put it more like a 6. But it's culture of working with people on things, not culture of just being isolated and just managing people.
Right. For me, interestingly enough, I'm on a very similar path to you.
Yeah.
Where when we were on a development team, I valued culture the highest, right? 100%. We talk about our golden days, our best of times. That was when we had a really good culture, but we were working as a really good team. And we were working in an engineering department. So like, I think back then I valued culture at a 10.
Yeah.
Like it was really important to me. And I think that was reflected in challenge might not have been there. Right. Compensation definitely wasn't there, but culture was so good that it made up for it. As I went into sales, I think culture came down a bit because it was more on me. Right? Yeah. How are you, Anthony, going to help us sell more product? Like, It doesn't matter what your team is doing or what your reps are doing. It's like, how are you helping close those deals? So my culture dropped. And then as I moved into management, culture I don't care anymore.
You just don't care about it.
I literally do not care. Yeah. I will work anywhere in any situation and I will fit and adapt to the culture because as a manager, I kind of have to fit with the culture of the environment versus exist in the culture of the environment.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's a really good. That's a good way to put it. Is you kind of get out of the ranks of you needing to work well with inside your team to do actual work, and now you're just managing like the actual work that's coming in and the process and the people.
Right. I want my team's culture to be at a 10.
Yeah, you want them to be so happy.
I'm a miserable sack of turds.
And sometimes you got to play shield.
You got to. That's exactly it.
And some people really love that. They love to be the shield for their team and protecting their team. The mama bear, as some people would say.
Oh, interesting. Do people say that?
Occasionally.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I trust what the people say.
So let's do autonomy.
Yeah.
So autonomy. How do you know whether you value this? How do you know whether it's draining on you? If you find yourself always being told what to do and how to do it, they're like, hey, you go into the system. You do this thing with the data, and then you put it in the report at the end of the week. And that's what you do. You come in every day, you do that. This is almost making like Severance vibes to me. Yeah. Where it's like, you go in, you sort the puzzle, you don't really understand why, but you're doing it in the system, you're told what to do. In that case, you don't have a lot of autonomy to solve the problem. In that case, you don't really even know what the problem is. You're just like, I just do the job.
Yeah, macro data refinement.
Yeah, macro data refinement. Yeah. I do that, and that's it. That's all I ever do. So, like in that case, if you go in and you're kind of miserable in that because you're like, well, there's a better way to do it, and they're telling you no. Likely, the autonomy kind of sucks there because they're telling you, no, you do it this way. This is how you work. I would even say another example is whether you can work remote or whether you need to go to the office because you don't have the autonomy to choose when you work.
Right.
You don't have the autonomy to choose how you get work done. It's no, you show up to the office, you work 9 to 5, you get your work done then. And for a lot of people, that's okay. That's a good thing. For a lot of people, they're like, no, my energy is from me in particular, 5 to 9 in the morning, and I'd rather like take off early in the afternoons because I just don't have energy then. And for me, I need that autonomy to do my work that way, structure my days that way. Otherwise, I am way less productive. So if I'm in an environment where they're like, no, you start at 9, you end at 5, I would be miserable.
Well, I think autonomy is another interesting one because, like you said, just because you have your autonomy set at a 7 or an 8 doesn't mean you want to be completely autonomous. That could also mean I want structure, right? Some people actually really like being told what to do. I don't want to make my own decisions. I don't want to have to be a decision maker. My autonomy, it needs to be guided. I need structure. I start my job at 8:30. I leave at 4:30. I can be home every day. I get an hour-long lunch. I fit within this square box. Some people find comfort in that, right? So it is interesting, again, depending on where you rank and where you find your comfort in being autonomous or being completely structured, you're gonna turn that thing up or down based on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would say for all these things, if you recently started becoming unhappy with your job, I would say it's probably due to something that changed.
A change in your CAC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A change in your CAC. Sometimes it's you, but more than likely it's an outside factor that's now impacting your CAC, I would say.
Absolutely
A
agree.
reorg that happened, a call back to the return to office, whatever it is. Like all those things can factor into, hey, I'm not happy. And you can start to look at this and be like, well, what changed? And start to diagnose, okay, was that like a cultural thing? Like, did I change teams? And now I'm miserable because I'm on a different team. It very likely could be because you don't like the people you work with anymore and you miss your old team. And so culture is probably higher on your list. And so for all these things, I'd say like if you are unhappy or you're trying to figure out why am I unhappy, what do I value, that's the way to look at it, is diagnose what changed. And it could be you. It could be a realization on your own to be like, oh, I'm actually starting to just understand I like to do things my own way.
I think about how when we went through our agile transformation, you and I got super jazzed because we're like, this is a great way to work. This is such a better, we're free.
Yeah.
Now we get to tell product management, this is going to take this long. But we had peers who were older and more attached to the old waterfall style method. And you would have thought like someone kicked their puppy.
Yeah.
It was like a devastation for them, and what was a turn up in a CAC for us, because we do feel like we got more autonomy with Agile.
Felt like the culture was much better.
Right.
Yeah.
For them, it was, I don't want to adopt this new style of working. I liked the old style.
Yeah.
I liked the consistent way of doing things, and their autonomy got cranked down, which is just interesting to think about, like how autonomy can mean something very different for two different people.
Yeah, 100%. I like that a lot. I never thought of it that way, but it's so true. It's like, your version of autonomy could be different than someone who's just like, no, I just don't want to have to, like, let's say somebody has a fixed scope of work. It's 8:30 to 4:30 every day. They get to sign off. Like they have autonomy within their life to decide, hey, I'm going into work. I'll be back at this time. And like for them, that's fine. And then for other people, it's like, no, this is your work. You work either as much or as little as you need to in order to get it done. Don't care how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because, we're thinking about examples from our own life and people we know, but this is also an opportunity not for you just to evaluate yourself, but to share this mechanism with your team, your peers, and check in with them.
Yeah.
Right. Because we find this very valuable as a tool for ourselves.
Right.
This helps us make decisions based on what we want to do, the decisions we're going to make in our life. Don't just keep this for yourself. We talk about this often on the podcast. I think it's the most revisited topic simply because it does help. It is a great tool for measuring sort of the overarching weather of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the last one, challenge.
What's your autonomy?
Oh yeah. I keep on forgetting to get my own rating.
How dare you?
I would say autonomy for me is really high.
Same.
I mean, I'd say it's probably like a 9 or 10 out of 10.
Agree.
9.5.
Agree. Same. I'm 10.
Like, I don't like to be told exactly how to do something. I like to use the creative part of my brain and decide when to do it. And like I said, when I get up in the morning at 5 in the morning, that is when I knock out my biggest tasks. And at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm like, my brain is mush. I do nothing.
Yeah. I love it. And I too am a 10 in autonomy. And I would say for me, it's not just autonomy for me, it's autonomy for everyone else too.
Yeah.
Like I trust you to do your job.
Right.
So I can do my job, and then together we will do a good job, right? That's a perfect autonomy situation for me, is complete
100%.
autonomy for me and everyone.
Right. Yeah. As a leader, I'm a very high trust, high autonomy leader. And so I give a long leash. I hate that so much.
That's really bad.
A long leash.
I don't like it.
But I do exactly what you say. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Here's what we need to solve.
Yeah.
I need you to help me figure it out. Like, you tell me how to solve it. You tell me how we're achieving the outcomes, and I'll support you, like whatever I can do to help. So 100%. It's kind of funny because what you value is often as a leader what you portray back to your team. And that can be good and bad, as we talked about in the love languages. Or the appreciation languages for work.
Yeah, we didn't talk about love languages in the workplace because that would be an HR violation.
Yes, HR would enter that chat so fast.
They'd be like Pepsi Man busting through a wall.
Wait, is that Kool-Aid Man or
Pepsi Man does it too. Pepsi Man. What's next?
He came back.
He came back.
Last one. I would say last one that's on the normal scale, the vector, is challenge. And so, like I said in the beginning, challenge is, again, subjective. Like, it's, some people see challenge as they do challenging and hard work. So like they see the work in front of them. It's not mundane. It's not boring. They don't exactly know how they're going to solve it. And they're going to have to really try to think through and work hard to solve the problem. Might be even more than they want to work, but they need to do it to get it done. Some people love that environment. Always learning, always dynamic, always changing. Some people hate that environment. Like you said, our friends back in the dev world that were like, no, agile is not the way, man. I've been doing software development for 40 years. Agile is not going to make it any better than that. And they were skeptical because they knew that this was like a new, different way of working, and it would take them a lot to shift out of their old way of working. It'd be a higher challenge for them. They didn't want that. So I think challenges is one of those things that is, again, relative to you. Like, do you want a job that you're always having to learn and always having to do something new and probably think about outside of work because you have to, process in your brain and handle it? Or do you want a job that you can show up, do exactly what you've been doing for 5 years and be successful and move on?
I was watching Nova. Are you familiar with the program?
No idea.
Nova?
Nova?
On PBS, aka the Public Broadcasting Service.
PBS still exists? Real question.
It's one of the best subscription services you could possibly sign up for. Nova is a program where they talk about science, technology, and the world we live in. And I've been watching it since I was like a child.
It's been out that long?
It's been out before I was alive.
Wow.
Nova goes way back. And I watched an episode on quantum computing, and specifically they got to the IBM Quantum Computing Center, and they had a lady on who's talking about working with the quantum computing computer. And she was basically like explaining the process. And you could do this, by the way. You can literally go to IBM's quantum computing website and like write a little program, have it run on their quantum computer and get an output. But the process of using this insane computer, we can't trust it because the results it comes back with are completely right, but also there's going to be some squirrely data in there. So we got to go in there and refine it. Our like macro data refinement. We got to refine the quantum data, and then we can give it back to the end user. And I was like, this has to be one of the most maddening jobs in existence because you are working with such beyond cutting edge hardware and software and like compensating for quantum errors.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how she does it. Right? I gotta watch this jaw agape. Like the challenge, her desire for challenge is like a 24 out of 10. But some people love that.
Yeah.
Right? Like they do. And meanwhile, me, I'm like, I want my challenge at 5.
Yeah.
I want to learn.
Right in the middle.
But I don't want to have to like break my brain every day I go into work, you know?
Yeah. I think there is an important distinction too, like as you were talking about that. I wouldn't say challenge as, is it challenging to work there? That's not the point of challenge. Challenge is like, do you enjoy that type of work? Are you challenging yourself? It's not, is Anthony hard to work with? That's not, he is challenging, but that's not.
I really like difficult coworkers. Just give me a 10 on that.
That one goes more in the culture.
Yes.
More in the culture bucket. But this one is your personal, realm of like, would you be okay doing the same job and not really challenging yourself or learning a new skill for the next year or 2 years? If that's a yes, it's probably pretty low on the challenge scale for you.
I feel like you could also rephrase this as mental satisfaction.
Oh, that's
right. Like maybe I want to work in a massage parlor because I like the Zen environment. I like using my hands and being kinetic and, the active massage. Yeah, it's for the benefit of my clients, but it's a calm environment. It's the same repeated tasks. Like I know the work, I know like your challenge might be very important to you that it is not my brains are leaking out of my ears at the end of every day, right?
100%.
Or you could be the woman at IBM, right? Like two totally different spectrums. But it is important to figure that out for yourself is what do you like?
Right. Yeah, putting it in a way of like, way to think about this. Like for me, if I think about, hey, Michael, you have one project this year. This is all you're going to do all year is this one project. And it's going to be on something you've been doing for the last 2 years. So this is your one project for the year. You're just going to continue doing what you've been doing. For me, that's a no. I'm like, I need multiple things to kind of stretch my brain and think outside the box and learn new skills, even learn with new people or meet new people. It's like, I need that in my life. And that's why challenge for me, I'll spoil it, is high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably like a 10. Like if I'm not always learning, I get bored really, really easily. And it's not because I get bored of the people, but like that for me is just really important that I'm challenging myself, that I'm learning, that I'm going beyond. Maybe it's because I was an athlete in the past and that's the competitive nature in me, but it's like that to me is a critical part of the job. Otherwise, I'm just not going to be happy.
I like that. I think that's a good way to think about it. Because for me, challenge, I would say it's maybe a 5 or a 6, but I want to be mentally challenged because I like learning new things and I like being able to express myself creatively and do things the way that I can experiment and feel like I'm pushing things in a direction, but I don't like to be challenged on multitasking, too many projects. It's chaos all the time. I can't ever focus and get something done. Like that kind of challenge, nah. But some people thrive in that.
Yeah.
Like some people love the chaos environment.
Right.
Not me.
Yeah, maybe it's because I'm ADHD, I feel like. But
I've noticed that because I've worked with people with ADHD. My wife has ADHD. I think you probably. Some people thrive in these environments. I am the opposite of whatever ADHD is.
Yeah.
I love to focus and fixate.
yeah. See, for me,
I
like,
think there's a different A word that probably fits in that bucket.
no. But it's true because, like, for me, all those projects, they force you to be productive. Because if you don't time box yourself and get the thing done, you can't move on to the next thing and get the thing done. But some people are like, oh, I've got an open day and I've got one problem to solve. Like, let me figure this out.
Love that.
That is the worst for me.
Love it.
I'm going to procrastinate as long as I can to possibly get that thing done, and then I'll get the thing done. Because, like, I need my brain to be hopping around to other things. And if it's just an open slate, I'm like, I need something to do.
Are you a first in, first out kind of person, or a first in, doesn't matter when it's out kind of person?
I would say no, not first in, first out. I would say there is a prioritization that happens.
Yeah.
It has to come in, but be prioritized, and then it will come out.
The second the thing comes in, that's my first in,
Yeah.
first out.
You just pop that out right away.
And then whatever comes in next needs to go behind it. And if someone gonna change my priorities, and so that first thing that came in that you're working on, no. Oh my gosh, you just ruined my life. My week is ruined. Why did you do this to me? So, yeah.
Should really be last in, first out for you.
Oh, that sounds awful. That sounds like the worst. But I'm not a procrastinator.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I've noticed is like I've noticed, especially working with people with ADHD, there's a little bit of procrastination.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like what do they call it? It's like procrastination.
Yeah.
Like
Like
you're
productive
productive
procrastination.
procrastination, where they use it as an art form. And I've also seen the people who do that are considered like geniuses on the IQ scale. Which what does that say about me? But I find that to be maddening.
Yeah.
Again, when I get something, I want to get started. I want to go. I want to get it done and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like pat it on the head, you're good to go. But we're very different in this way.
Yeah, 100%.
So my challenge, it's like a I can't do this again. It's like a 5-6 plus 1.
I'm happy to do it for the third episode in a row.
I'm really glad, and I'm not doing it on purpose.
It just comes up naturally. It's not your fault.
Maybe this is why it caught on in the first place. Is it's such a common number pattern?
Yeah. That's why. I'm not on social media at all, so I don't understand the trend, but I see it everywhere.
If you roll 2 dice, you know what the most common outcomes are going to be?
No, is it really?
I think so.
Huh.
Right? Because it's the average between 12.
Yeah, I guess it's true. Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. So 5-6, that's my challenge rating.
Plus 1.
Plus 1.
A bonus die thrown in for a plus
We throw
1.
in an extra die for a plus 1. And that's my reasoning.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's funny, even thinking about, like, if you think about the people you work with, you'll kind of be able to diagnose where they fit on the scale between Anthony and I. But even like my wife is like, something comes in, like she deals with it.
Yeah.
Email comes in, she deals with it. And it's like, for me, my brain does not handle that well.
Yeah.
Because I just get distracted. And so, like, for me, like when I'm doing work, I got to put on, reduce interruptions, do not disturb, and like let all those things go by. Sometimes this drives my wife insane. I don't respond to texts for like weeks. It's just not prioritized for me. I'm like, it's not that I didn't see it. I saw it. I just didn't respond because I got a bunch of other stuff to do first.
I just hate typing with my thumbs.
Yeah.
I really hate it.
Is that what I should tell people?
I mean, I do tell people, I'm like, hey, listen, if you text me,
Yeah.
you're going to get like a kind of crappy response. I like using grammar. I like using punctuation.
Yeah.
And it pains me so much to have to text. But if I'm on like Discord, you're going to get a very thoughtful response from me because I can keyboard it out.
Yeah.
Another question for you. When you check your email, do you read it from most recent to oldest
Ooh, that's interesting.
or opposite?
So when I process my email, because I don't respond to everything.
No, I know,
unless
that's what I'm saying,
respond
yeah.
In under 2 minutes, I do go top to bottom.
Ooh, gross.
I do it in, what order is that? Descending order?
Descending.
Yeah. So you're
Descending from
you're an ascending guy.
most recent to least.
Yes.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
I just look at it, I'm like, the most important thing, the biggest fire will likely be at the top.
It's true, but I don't care.
So you go back. If you took a weekend, let's say you're off for 4 days.
Yeah.
You scroll all the way back to the beginning.
To the beginning.
Tackle that.
That's right. And that's the order I go in. And I will respond to things people have already responded to. Well, the nice thing about Outlook now is this group conversations.
Yeah,
so that's one of the best things Microsoft's ever done. Shout out to Microsoft. This is the last time you're getting one of those.
If you're new, don't fall into the pit trap that we just talked about. The pit trap,
pitfall,
the
Harry.
pitfall trap. Yeah. Don't fall into that of you go all the way to the bottom. You don't realize there were 7 replies to the email. And you just replied to the first one. Everyone will look at you and be like, that guy's an idiot.
Sort by conversation history.
Yes.
It's a great feature. But I love that feature because it does let me start at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of see, okay, this is what happened. Yeah. I now know the narrative, but I'm a story-oriented person. That's why I love marketing so much. That's why I was good at sales.
Yeah.
I like telling stories. And good storytelling has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
True.
My inbox has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it's in that order that it actually happened.
Makes
and I'm
sense.
putting the story together. So we're very different people, you and I, which is fine. It's fine, but we value things differently.
We're both productive. We both get things done. It's
Well, one of us is.
The other one, jury's still out.
You can figure out which one's which.
I won't say who it was, but someone in our community reached out to us and was asking a question. And from like a challenge perspective, you could tell that this person, if you agree with me, loves challenge. Like always is challenging themselves, trying to learn something new. And that's a level beyond me. Like I like it, but I just don't even know how this person is so incredible.
Shout out to this person. You're an impressive human being,
100%.
right? Like
it blows my mind every time.
we acknowledge your impressiveness.
Like you say things and my brain is just like, that's possible? People can do that in life?
I appreciate you came to us for advice, but maybe
It's the other way around.
do better. Find better role models.
Yeah. But when you're saying challenge, it was funny because it's like that challenge
Yes.
fulfillment is like a little bit in work, a little bit out of work, which I think is like really interesting to think about.
Agree. Well, and I like I said, when I watched this Nova special, I was just like, my God, everyone on this episode is like the smartest human being on the planet, and I don't know how their brains doesn't leak through their ears after like a day of work.
Yeah.
Because there's so much thinking involved.
Right.
You know, and like that amount of thinking, that amount of challenge intimidates me.
Right.
Right? Scares me.
Yeah, and you can even look at if you watch like high pressure environments, either like sports or something else, and they're like yelling at each other. Like some people thrive off that. And that's challenge for them is like we're pushing each other to be better, we're working hard. And like you might see that and be like, no, that ain't for me. Like I don't want conflict. I don't want to battle with people. I don't want to argue for my stuff. Like that level of challenge probably isn't the challenge you want.
One of the things I love about marketing is my challenge is how do I convince people through non-conversational means to buy my product, right? Because at the end of the day, like I have to psychologically convince you that I'm right, that my product is the best, and that you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And I hope that you do love it, but that's not entirely my problem. The challenge of that is so satisfying for me, right? Like when I create a good asset or I release a good video or put out a good launch and I know it does well, it's like, yes,
you nailed it.
I love that level of challenge because a lot of it falls onto me. It requires my own level of creativity, my thinking, my focus on storytelling.
Right.
But when it falls apart, oh boy, it hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, it stings.
Yeah, it's almost like if you were in marketing at a very well-known brand, like an Apple or
Yeah.
something like that. Like you really can't do much wrong in marketing.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you could make a mistake, the ad could kind of suck, but who cares? It's Apple, dude. And like that would be a different level of I think challenge for you. Like if you're at a startup now, you guys have to fight for your lives and build this product, you know, whatever is next step for the company. So you are responsible for that. Like
Yeah.
if you suck at your job, you're not making sales.
I mean, that headset's the perfect example.
Yeah.
Right? Because that headset is a piece of garbage. Shout outs, Apple.
Very expensive.
You just did the worst thing. Shout outs. Congrats. But the people who marketed that product, how many of those things did they sell?
Yeah.
Right? And like,
100%.
I knew from the onset that it was going to be garbage because I've been a VR enthusiast since the early days. And like, this is just a crappy VR headset with a little extra pizzazz. But the marketing team did such a good job.
Right.
Because even though I was like, this thing sucks, and I knew that, I was reading all the material. I was like, what is this? I'm watching videos of people use it. And I'm like, it's cool, but I don't think it's
It almost got me.
Yeah,
It almost got me because I was
mean,
like, this is super cool. Like, I need this. And then I saw the reviews and I'm like, I am going to hard pass.
that was probably very challenging for the marketing team at Apple because they probably knew this thing sucked.
Yeah.
Right? Like
That's
they
true.
knew, but look at what they put out.
Yeah.
And look how many people bought it.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's, collecting dust in everyone's house.
Right.
But that marketing team did a great job. So I think it's a good example of when you have a fun challenge like that, it can be very rewarding, especially when you see it succeed, even if the product itself is a piece of crap.
Yeah. 100%. Let's talk the last one, compensation.
Let's do it.
How do you want to start this?
So
It's not the same on the vectors of a scale where you can say I'm an 8 out of 10 in culture. I'm a 3 out of 10 that I care for in autonomy. I'm a 7 out of 10 in challenge. Compensation is a little different.
right. I think compensation has a baseline, which is what do you need to survive?
Yeah, like
right?
base living income that you need.
Your if you're a 1 at compensation, that should just mean that you have enough to live.
Yeah.
Right? Like
It gets you by.
it gets you by. You're not missing bills. You're able to go to the hospital if you need to. You're never wanting for money, but at the same time, you're not eating filet mignon every weekend, right? So that's a 1. A 10 is you're Scrooge McDucking it,
Yeah,
right?
you got
Like,
so much money. You're like, I couldn't just, I don't even know what to do with my money. I got so much in my pocket.
I could walk down the street and fire a gun loaded with $100 bills at people and whatever.
Yeah, it'd be totally fine.
Totally fine. So you use that scale as basically what do you want? Like where do you want to be in your life? And can you take something on the lower end if your other 3 CAC categories are where you want them to be? Right? Like, hey, I might only be a 3 at compensation, which, I get a filet mignon every quarter. Right? Like we go out to eat every 3 months. It's a pretty nice meal. Maybe your compensation is a 7. I love filet mignon.
Right.
I want to eat it every Friday and
I
Saturday.
want a yacht. I want a Bugatti.
Right.
Like all those crazy things.
Right.
It's like you can't be at a 1. You actually really care about getting paid money.
Interestingly enough, we've never talked about this before. I think compensation is the one place where life actually creeps into CAC.
Yeah.
Right? Because
keep them
compensation impacts your life outside of work, which is why it is a horizontal bar where the others are vertical bars.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to figure out where do you want to be in your life, and then how does your work happiness get impacted by that?
Right.
And what are you willing to sacrifice to meet that?
Yeah, 100%. So you can almost use it like if I were to give an example, if you value culture at an 8 out of 10, so it's super high for you, and you're like, yeah, but my current company, like I probably rate them like a 3 out of 10 on the culture side because culture just sucks here. And then you're like, okay, well, autonomy, I value like a 7. I've got like a 4 in work. And, then on challenge, I value a 9, but I have like a 3. In that case, you're pretty low. You're probably like a D- if you were to put those scores together and figure it out. But if you're making buku bucks and like all your living situations are figured out and you're saving money like crazy and you're buying whatever next thing you want, and like those things are what are making you happy, then you can look at that D- and be like, actually, because I'm getting paid so ridiculously, I'll grade myself like a B+ at this company or even an A-. So you're willing to put up with the,
It's like a multiplier.
yeah, you're willing to put up with the shit of work because of how well you are being paid. And I think that's an important way to look at it is it's a bell curve to your score. If you're thinking about it like taking a test, like if you rate yourself low, use that as the bell curve to say, will it pull me back up? If that's what you care about.
I feel like compensation is probably the only CAC category that can actively change on a month-by-month basis, potentially, right?
What are
Because
you thinking for that?
let's say you have a lifestyle change,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Gonna have a baby.
Yep.
I had a medical issue that's changed the way I live. Got divorced, had something happen where suddenly I've either come into a lot more money or a lot less money.
Yeah. Or more expenses.
More requirements, right? Like I, have a kid now.
I have another mouth to feed.
Right.
Yeah.
Like suddenly it's like, oh, I care about their success. I need the compensation to go up.
Yeah.
Everything else can come down. So I do think that's the one that you can see a rapid change in your personal needs based on life.
100%. And so like you just said eloquently, if you are
One of the only times that's going to happen.
well, if you're going to turn, if you realize work is not making me happy, I'm dreading going to work today. This is one of those factors of being like, oh, it's because life is impacting the fact that I need more money, I'm feeling more pressure financially, I need to boost up my compensation. So now I'm feeling like I hate work because I'm not making enough money, which is also affecting my life. And it's just that never ending circle. And so at that point, you might be like, I need to make more money. And even if culture's at a 10 out of 10 where you work and you really value that, and autonomy's high and challenge is wherever you want it to be, even if it's the case, like you said in the beginning, that if your compensation is a 1, it doesn't matter because your outside life will creep in and none of those things matter because your compensation is so low.
Yeah.
And so it's a lose situation because you're like, I love the company. I love everything about what we're doing, but I need to make more money and they can't do it. And that's like a really hard realization where you're like, I've got to leave my job just because I'm not making enough money and I'm probably going to go into something that I like less.
I think also agree. Firstly, I just want to say eloquent, to use your own words, but also I don't want to just lump compensation with money. Healthcare benefits.
Yeah, benefits.
401k, right? Like pet insurance, dental.
Yeah.
All of that fits under there because your needs outside of work are still your needs. And that your needs can include your family's needs, your whatever your home needs are, right? There are a lot of needs that can be filled in by compensation.
Right.
Some people need a car allowance.
Yeah.
They'll go into sales. It's like, because I need a vehicle, and because I'm a traveling salesperson, that's covered by my job. Right. So there are things I think even outside of salary that you can consider for that compensation slider too.
Yeah, I love that. So maybe since we're kind of wrapping this up, before we get to everybody in the chat, in our own Discord server, soon to be retired, and also in this chat, let's talk about maybe like some examples of how you can just look at this and evaluate whether do you need to jump ship and exit. Do you need
pull a plan E?
A plan E, as we like to call it. Exit your company. Do you need to look for a transition in your company, or should you just stay where you're at and maybe ask for a raise or something like that? Do you want to talk about like the different signs of where people might be?
Yeah, I think we should. I think it's a good thing. So let's start with culture, right? If your culture is not good, what do you do?
Yeah. So if you realize I value culture and it's not great, I think you need to also look at, is this, and we talk about this in our interview episode where we talk about all the skills and questions you should ask in an interview, but you should evaluate, is this a company problem or is this a my team, my role problem? Mm-hmm. Because if you're like, I'm getting paid really well, I've got high autonomy, the challenge is actually pretty good, but I hate the people I work with, maybe just switch teams.
Yeah.
I mean, we can attest to that when we were in the development.
We switched teams hundreds of times.
We had 35 different teams in our building. It's like we could just switch teams if we really liked everything else about the company. But in some cases for culture, it's a cultural problem in the company.
Right.
Where the people suck, the upper leadership suck, the things they're mandating just are ridiculous and you're just not on board for it. If it extends beyond like your immediate circle, and you realize it's a cultural thing that's really impacting your life beyond that, I think that's your sign of like, okay, I got to get out of this company.
And I want to throw one more thing out there. Before you throw in the towel, check yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because your evaluation of the culture could very well be dictated by you, the human being working there. If, hey, I don't really know about my team. They're kind of weird. I don't know how to read on them, right? Like if that's how you're feeling, you are part of the problem.
That's a great point.
You need to, if you value culture, you need to embody the culture you value.
Right.
So let's say I like going out with my team and getting Starbucks. Then invite them. Say, hey, Jerry, me and the gang are going to get Starbucks. Right. You want to come with? Start a habit. Build the culture you want to build. If you can't do that and you're still miserable, then pull the plan E. But I do think it's very preemptive to look around you and be like, oh, this sucks. If you don't do something, culture is one of the few things I think, especially on a team, you can make a direct impact on. Now, if you are rejected outright, you're in the wrong place. But you never know until you try.
Right. Yeah, it's a good way. Test the weather really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, okay, let me check myself. Let me ask someone I care and trust. Are they feeling the same way I am?
Yeah.
Like, do they think it sucks on their team? Get another perspective. Because, if everyone around you is the problem, this is as true in life as it is in work. If everyone around you is the problem and you're never the problem, you're probably the problem.
You're probably the problem. Yeah, agree.
So don't be the common denominator. Ask around, try to understand it. Okay, autonomy. You want to do that one next?
Yeah. So autonomy is hard because a lot of times it is dictated by the process you exist in. Agile, waterfall. You're in the Marines, right? There's very tight autonomy when you're in the military. Right. If you're a doctor, You live and die
Important reasons.
by your patience, your schedule. There's an emergency, right? So depending on what you value, you will quickly know whether or not it is a fit. And I don't think this is one where you get to make a change yourself. So autonomy, really, you judge it in the interview process,
Yeah,
I would
I
say.
agree.
When you're looking at new jobs, ask the kind of questions about the work environments you like to work in to the hiring manager. And if you get to talk to your potential new team members, ask them those questions. They're not weird, right? What's it like working on a team here? How do you guys share the workload?
Yeah.
Do you guys have weekly meetings, daily stand-ups? What's that process like? Like, these are not questions people are gonna be like, oh, Anthony's on the sus bus with that one. This is just normal. One, you should always ask lots of questions in the interview, and you're gonna look good for doing this.
You might not be charging.
Oh.
I just saw the battery sign come on. I'm like, oh boy, this could be fun.
Okay. There we go.
But I absolutely love. Oh man, that was good.
How's it? Good save.
We
Good
could have
save.
just cut the stream right there.
Whew, we got good culture on this
Yeah,
pod.
there we go. We're looking out for each other. But ask those types of questions. What's the working culture like on the team? Ask that question. Be like, okay, do you guys like have to work in certain hours, or is it more like flexible? Hey, however you need to get your work done this week, get it done. Like those are the types of questions you can ask in the interview to understand, does it have the level of autonomy that I want or need?
Agree. And I think, if you're just listening to this podcast right now and you've just had the light bulb go off and realize I missed this opportunity and I'm in a place where the autonomy is not good, to your earlier point, there are other teams, and autonomy can shift team to team, manager to manager,
100%.
department to department. So before you bail on the company, take a look at the other options around you.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. I do think there's also a couple questions you might be thinking in your head of whether you have autonomy or not. If you're asking yourself, man, we always get these tasks and I know we can do it better, but my manager won't let me. Or I want to be able to do this better, but my manager always says, no, don't do this. Autonomy is probably low and you're probably not happy. But if you have flexibility to be able to do this and you're like, yeah, I got this new task. I don't really know how I'm going to solve it yet. Like your autonomy is probably high because you get to decide how you're going to go about that work. All right, should we do the last one? Challenge. So challenge. This one, like we said, is all relative to you. But if you find yourself, to me, it's a little bit more straightforward. If you find yourself being bored, if you're bored in what you do and you're like, I got to go do this thing again. I don't want to do this thing, but I got to do this thing because that's what my job is. If you find yourself stagnant in life, like you're just like, what's the point of me going to work today? What's the point in the future? Like if you're in those places, I think challenge.
I feel like you're about to pitch a medication. Are you stagnant in life? Are you bored at work? Do you get tired occasionally?
There's a reason why those questions work.
Have you tried drinking Pepsi?
Pepsi Man is there.
Pepsi Man.
But would you agree with that? It's like challenge, I think, is
Yes.
easier to diagnose.
But I would take what you said. I kind of cut you off with a joke, but I would take what you said and say, when you are in that level of lull, you're in a really good spot. I would actually say boredom is an opportunity in corporate. When you're bored and you feel like, man, another day where I could literally just work 5 minutes and then go play Minecraft, that's actually an opportunity. Look around you.
Look at it.
Look around you when you're bored, because there are problems that exist that you might be able to step in and help solve, and that is a career development opportunity.
100%. How often did we do this?
All the freaking, this is why we are where we are.
Yeah, we literally would go to other teams and be like, so what are you up to? Like, how does that work? And be like, okay, maybe we can make it better by doing this. Our manager didn't ask us to do it. It's just because we automated the crap out of our jobs and we were able to have this free time to go and learn, try to find opportunities, and then kind of insert ourselves into those. And that is why we got to where we are. 100%
Yes,
agree
it's
with you.
exactly why we got to where we are. Now, the opposite side is a little more challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, to use the word to explain the word. When you're in a situation where you're like, I am screaming in my brain because my job's so hard. I'm working 12-hour days. It is a sweatshop in here. Like, what do I do?
They're asking me to do this job, this job, this job. There's not enough hours in the day.
It's conversation time.
I can't master anything.
Yeah. That's when you have to have a conversation with your manager and or leadership and say, hey, I am drowning here. Yeah. Come with solutions, right? Say, I think we need to hire for this role. I think we need to pass off this responsibility to a different team. Come with solutions before you go and say, hey, I hate my job, right? Like don't just show up and open the door with that, right? But have potential ways you can fix it. And if that doesn't work, plan exit.
Plan exit. Get out of there.
Yeah.
Get out of there fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's this tool.
Yes.
In a way that we can explain it that we hope will be helpful to you too. If you're feeling like, maybe this job isn't great for me. Maybe I'm hating work today. Whatever it is, like we encourage you, try to put your brain into kind of these different vectors and understand yourself first. Which one do I care about? And then think about, well, why am I not happy? And then what are my solutions? Do I decide to stay because I am happy actually? But if you're not happy, then it's, do I look around me and figure out that I just need to try a new team? Maybe I need to try a different role that'll be more challenging and interesting to me. Or maybe it is finally your plan E. And we did a really cool exercise, as we keep mentioning. We'll have to put that in the notes or something of the episode we did for like a week or 2 weeks. We basically did hour by hour scores. So we said 9 a.m., here's my rating. And then also, here's my ratings for myself. 10 a.m., here's my rating for culture, autonomy, challenge. And we did that for every single hour. And then we graded ourselves off that curve.
Yeah, it was good.
And it was pretty abysmal.
Yeah.
But the compensation kind of brought us both back up.
The weird thing is, I think Michael, gosh dang it. I never call him this in real life, by the way. I call him Michael.
It is weird hearing you say it.
But like when this, it just comes out. It's funny because I look at you and I think there's a guy who's just got it together. He's so happy. You could just punch him in the gut and he wouldn't take the wind out of his sails. But when we did this exercise, you were like at a freaking D-.
It was eye-opening for me because I think it was.
I had like a C+. I was almost there. Yeah. I mean, I was passing. I'm like, what the heck, dude?
It's just so funny because I didn't realize that it was that bad, but I felt the energy drain. But like I was so busy all the time, I never even thought about trying to map it out and take a minute, reflect.
I think that's what it was, is because I do reflect often.
Yeah.
I'm more aware of what's good and what's bad, where you're just like, I exist.
Yeah.
In
you're
perpetual
your emotions.
fire. Yeah.
I bury my emotions deep, deep down into a tiny cavern that will never be unleashed.
It's another way we're very different. It's very, very different. We didn't talk about compensation. I just really quickly, when you are in a compensation lull, what you do is go to, I don't know where you get them. Go online, Google search where to shop for nunchucks and have them on hand, bring them into the manager's office when you begin to negotiate. Just put them on the table, set them down gently. Don't bring any sort of aggression or violence into the situation. Just set them on the table. This is what we call a power move. Now, when you bring the nunchucks into the room and you set them down, they are now off balance. They have no idea what is going to happen next. Now, you're not making a threat.
All you do is bring
You just carry nunchucks with you. This is a comfort. This is my security animal that happens to be nunchucks. Keep them on the desk. Say, hey, I'm currently interested in being compensated more for the work that I do. Make eye contact, blink twice, pick up the nunchucks, walk out. Simple as that. I've never seen it fail.
How many times have you seen it?
Enough to know that it doesn't fail.
It's like art of the deal. It's like when you're sitting in your manager's office, they walk in behind you, they sit down in your seat. You immediately stand back up and just stand the whole time.
Just stand. It's called a power move. And trust me.
Works 100% of the time, every time.
Every time works 100% of the time. Never seen it fail. Never seen it fail.
But compensation is an important one of... This one is just frankly usually a conversation with your manager.
It is.
Like I've had many people come to me and I didn't even think about it. They were like, hey, I've actually been at the same pay raise for a while. I've taken on more responsibility. You asked me to take on this project and this project. I feel like I should be compensated for that. And so recognize that when you're working, like you are compensated for what you do. They can't just keep adding things to your plate because you're an all-star and you're knocking it out of the park without compensating you properly. It's not fair that you're doing 25 things and the person next to you is doing 2 and you're getting paid the same amount. This is corporate. Maybe not all corporate. This is business. They should pay you for what you're worth. And so that is another big one of if you constantly take on more, your pay is never raised. That means your compensation value is probably low and you think you should be getting paid more. If they won't do that for you, it is time to leave. They don't value you.
Yep. Agree. Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
My best managers have always done it. They recognize, hey, this person does a lot. I'm going to give you out-of-band pay raises. Yeah. I've been so fortunate with so many managers who have done that.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it has happened to me, so it is possible.
It can happen. And he did bring
I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
nunchucks.
I put them right on the desk.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it works. I think we did it.
I think we did it. So one thing I would say, we did create a tool that you can kind of grade yourself. Maybe we'll release that. I've been meaning to get that out there. So
Did we never release that?
We never released it. But if you want it, send us a note. We'll give you our spreadsheet where you can literally just go day by day and put your score in there, and you'll know where you rank. Are you an A or are you a D minus? Is compensation helping you rank it back up? This will really be your opportunity to reflect.
It's the kind of thing we could put on our website if we cared.
That's true.
Yeah, and
Culture is really bad here.
I want to hit some of the. Well, we really had one message in the chat. We had a couple of people jump into the chat. Always got to give shout outs to individual contributor and King Ica. Also, we didn't recognize King Ica as our king. We do have a king. Just FYI,
He owns this.
If you're part of the corporate strategy crew, the Discord, which join if you can, but if you can't, don't worry. There's gonna be something new coming soon as Clark decides to make it happen. Michael, the King Ica said, I always thought culture wasn't important to me. Work is work, but I learned that apparently I have a conscience. Now I work for much lower comp, but at least I don't hate myself. And I actually love that comment because I feel similarly.
Yeah.
I used to chase the biggest number possible. And, thinking about my future, that is not going to be the case moving forward. Whenever I do look for work elsewhere or just look for work in general, it's not going to be the number on the salary that I care about. It really is going to be the autonomy.
Yeah.
What's that culture feel like? What's the challenge look like? I'm going to be interviewing them just as much as they'll be interviewing me because I want to smell that. And the compensation, so long as I'm comfortable, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked about a friend of mine that pretty much only values the money. It's funny because I think people start with that. And then I think over time they realize they actually care about culture a lot more than they think.
Yeah.
Because working, let's face it, is a lot of your life. You're going to spend a lot of hours doing things and working with people, and to just not care about that just for money, like that's really, really hard to do.
Agree.
Now, if you can work a job, and I would say my friend is in this situation where you work as much as you need to earn your paycheck, and then you can sign off and do whatever else you want. And whether you work more or less doesn't necessarily matter. Like that's a great spot to be because you can just do your work and you can make good money and you can not care about anything else. Culture, autonomy, challenge, sign off and do whatever you want to do because you can only work 10 hours a week that week. If that's your thing, do that thing. And so for me, I'm just not built like that. Like I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I want to be part of the work and I want to be building the people and all that stuff. But it's totally up to you. There's no right answer. You either live to work or work to live or somewhere in the middle. And like, that's for you to decide.
And just a minor side note, I did mention the 401k and the benefits. Do make sure you are planning for the future, right?
Yeah,
like
important.
Don't just live within your means, live for your means after work.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a totally different episode. It's a totally different topic. But if you're going to take our advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but please invest in your future monetarily.
100%. Take advantage of matches, things like that.
Yeah.
Look into your benefits.
Look into them. And I think that's it.
Yeah, we didn't actually have many other chats because I think our chat's still kind of funky, but we'll get better at doing that. We're trying to put the chats in like a dedicated section that we can talk about them. That way, for people who are not in the live stream, if they don't,
It doesn't feel like we're just reading out names
just
and
rambling
saying
out
words.
things. Yeah.
We do take feedback. I want it to be known. I hear you and I listen.
Yes, yeah, we will take the feedback. We will adjust, and one day we'll get the intro right.
It was so
It
close.
was so close. It was
Oh my
so
gosh. We'll get it next time. We'll get it next time. I'm going to cry about this later. And I said the do not disturb, and yet here we are.
Still happening.
Here we are. So that'll do it for another episode of Corporate Strategy, the live show / podcast. It could have been an email. If you want to get in our crew, I highly recommend you do, even though we're going to change. Get in the Discord for now because we are going to stay there until we're out. Great conversation happens there. If you want to support the show, go to the Patreon. Please check it out. We do have a chat in the Patreon if you want to talk to us directly. There's a member-exclusive chat in there that only our Patreon supporters, the people who pay. Also, just a request, even if you're not going to pay us, can you still sign up for the Patreon? So I think it actually helps.
Yeah. And then you get a little flair.
You get a free
whatever
account.
chat we decide to do.
You'll get notifications in your inbox about things we're doing. Just sign up. It's also in the link. It is free. There's no monetary obligation there. That would help us. And if you don't want to do that, share the pod, share the CACC, give us a good review.
Buy a baby onesie.
Buy a baby onesie. We do have a merch shop. And I think that'll do it.
I think that'll do it. It's great. This is
that'll
one
do
of
it.
our favorite tools. Also, let us know if you want this spreadsheet. So if you want to evaluate your CAC, you want a way to grade it, you want a moment to reflect and try to see where you stand in your workplace, let us know.
Ooh, maybe that's a Patreon-only benefit.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh.
I said we give it to you if you message us. I stand by that. But we will put it in Patreon for you.
We will also make it available as a post on the Patreon. I think that'll do it.
That's it.
All right. Well, thanks as always, Michael, for providing excellent pod conversation. My God.
What is happening? We're getting calls. We're getting notifications. I got a call. You got a call. Everyone's getting a call.
I think that was actually my wife's laptop. This is our time to end. We need to end this thing. We need to end this right now. Thanks as always for watching and joining us on Corporate Strategy, the podcast. It could have been an email. I'm Antonio.
I'm Michael.
And you're on mute. We will